Hey, everybody, welcome to GFBS on a Dirty Thursday. Or should I say, Snirty Thursday. Hall of Fame Snowmobile Racer, Guy Useldinger in the studio, along with mechanic wrench extraordinaire, Scott Schuster. Show, by the way, today brought to you by Northwest Tire, right here in Grand Forks, and they're looking to hire a tire technician. Now, if you're not afraid to show up for work on time and work hard, this job might be perfect for you. No prior work experience is necessary. Northwest Tire, they're going to train the right people for the job. Get great benefits like PTO, health insurance, 401k, and more. Pay depends on experience, but stop in to find out more at Northwest Tire on Gateway Drive. Or call Chad at 701-780-8473. Or you can apply online at nwtire.com. Have any questions or comments for Scott or Guy? Our phone number, 701-213-0863. Feel free to call or text. And before we get too much further into the show, it is time now for our daily segment called Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. Here we go. Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. You know, no matter how nice the hand soap smells, you should never, ever walk out of the restroom sniffing your fingers. Hopefully you guys agree. We're going to start on the left side. Scott Schuster, how you doing, man?
Doing good, John.
You know, we've been running into each other here and there. Go to the vintage snowmobile ride up in Reynolds. You were there.
Yes.
Hall of Fame night at River City Speedway. Well, kind of a Hall of Fame night. I believe that was for... was that for Brian?
Mike Johnson.
Oh, Mike Johnson. Okay, yep, there. And
Brad Paik.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Old sprint car driver. And both of them, yeah. Mm-hmm. And nice to see you there. And what are you doing with yourself now?
Okay, I'm an auctioneer right now. I got my own auction company, Schuster Auctioneering, and also work with Auction Block online auctions.
Okay, so you're busy still.
Oh, yeah, and then I even haul beats for Guy Useldinger, too.
No way. You do, too? It seems like everybody I know hauls for you. Guy, first time in the studio with you, too. How are you?
I'm good.
You are a busy guy, too. Farming, you're into realty, you're into all kinds of things, aren't you?
Yeah, at a farm with my nephews, brother, and have a lot of sugar beets. And
I passed your guys, I haul for Todd Mack. So I passed your guys on the road quite a bit during the harvest. So first question, I mean, you had a very long career. When did you get your start snowmobile racing?
When I was 10 years old, my dad and my uncles and the neighbor guys, Enrights, they used to farm, and then we all go to the little weekend races around. And our first race was at, I think it's where S&S Trucking is now, the old Renner By.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It was across the road from there.
Uh-huh.
I had a $3.99 Hearth Arctic Cat.
Yeah. Hey, I started out with a 71 EXT. That's my first one I ever raced. How'd you do as a 10-year-old?
I won that one.
Yeah, yeah. And so what the folks just said, you know what, this kid's pretty good. Let's keep him going.
No, I think it was our dads had more fun going every weekend than we did. Get them out of town.
Oh, man. You know, you have been called one of snowmobile racing's most versatile and durable drivers, and we're going to get to all of this, but your career started at 10. Did you go solid then until you finally retired?
Yeah, I quit when I was 40, and I retired for a half a year. But everybody wanted me to drive again, so I went back, and then it was all ice oval.
Yep.
And enduro. Kind of got out of the cross country.
And you kind of went the opposite of what I did. Started with the ice ovals and ended in the cross country thing, which was completely stupid on my part. I mean, holy smokes. Okay, let's start with the cross country stuff first. I know that you ran, I remember, and this was a race I wanted to get into so bad, the Winnipeg to St. Paul I-500 race. You probably could have won that thing a couple of times.
Yeah. The one time I had a nice lead, but got stuck once. And then we had little infractions on the third day. So I got time added, which is a whole long story. Ended up getting sixth. that year.
Okay. You didn't have an airplane following you with a radio in your helmet or anything like that?
That was the first day.
Thought that was only John Deere drivers that did
Right.
that.
I was thinking the same.
Well, I was out front, so why are they all following me? They should be back catching the guys running down the highway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you know, it was funny because when I was a kid, I remember the one leg would end in Thief River. And I was a kid that got caught in class because back then with the old little transistor radios and the one little earpiece, I ran the thing up my sleeve and I sat there like this in class the whole day listening to it. But they actually used to let us out to watch the sleds come in. To finish that leg. And then, of course, we'd all go to the Huck Olson Arena. You know, at least I did, because I was just fascinated by snowmobiles, and you watch everybody wrenching it on their sleds and stuff. But speaking of wrenching, I know you wrenched for Guy.
Yes.
How long did you do that for?
Just a few years with Guy. Mainly what I did, all my entry into snowmobiling kind of came by accident. I'm from Grafton originally, working at a dealer up there, implement dealer. And they started selling Skidoo snowmobiles and then later Yamaha. The next year I moved to Grand Forks to work at the John Deere dealer in town here, and they had just taken on Arctic Cat and soon realized that I was my passion and then put me in charge of the Arctic Cat snowmobiles, and through that is how I met Guy at the John Deere dealer.
Okay. Life on the road. I know you guys travel a lot. How was that?
It was a lot of fun. My first experience on the road was with Black Magic Motorsports. We were the official support team for Team Arctic Racing, and Guy was with Team Arctic at that time, 1991. And that's going to lead to another story with a big crash with him and Brian Sturgeon.
Oh, yeah. We're going to get to that one, too.
But I did that, and then I ended up going back to Grand Forks and back to the dealership. But in between, I worked for a car dealer for a while, and that's when I was on Guy's team when he was with Skidoo when the year he won Eagle River.
Okay. Now, with the cross-country thing, back in 79, you went to Sweden.
Yep.
And things went pretty good over there for you, didn't they?
Yeah, we were there for a month. Went with Archie Simonson. And Polaris helped us load them all up. We flew out of Winnipeg, and of course we lost the sleds on the train.
At least you went there a month early, right?
But yeah, we had 3 cross countries, and I won one and got a third in one, so that was enough points for the championship over there.
Was cross-country racing different in Europe than it was around here? Terrain, any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, the terrain was unbelievable. You're coming down mountains, and they'd plow out our lakes
Oh,
flat,
okay.
and you just wide open.
You know, because back then, I mean, we didn't have to mess much with altitude and things like that when it comes to, tuning up your sled, getting it ready to go. So was that a big adjustment to make?
Not a lot. Them were the old standard front end, so, what do you adjust?
Right. Were you one of those guys that would, I have heard stories from the old Winnipeg to St. Paul 500. I used to hang around with the Muzzy boys out of Thief River. They were Yamaha guys. And then I know one time he actually went and knocked on a farmer's door to put enough fuel in his helmet to put back in the sled. But were you one of those guys? I've heard the stories, and this might have even been a little bit before your time, but rubber bands and duct tape, throttle. I mean, they would just hold the thing wide open and hold on. Were you ever that nuts?
No, one time I didn't use duct tape. It was coming out of Minneapolis. It was going to Winnipeg.
Okay.
I got 6 miles out of Minneapolis, and throttle broke. Took a vice grip, wrapped it around the cable, and I drove to Alex with one hand.
Oh, boy. Man, that happened to me in the old Goodrich 100. Right off the bat, is like 4 miles in, came to a little funnel, and a sled come down on top of me, and he busted most of my throttle off. So I had this little piece. Actually had to try to wrap my finger around it and drive it like that. I ran out of gas with like 2 miles to go. God, couldn't believe it. In the 80s, you switched to track racing. Again, every type of racing you have done, you were good. I mean, you won the Sioux 500 in 81. What did that mean to you?
That was quite an experience because I'd been there, a couple times. And, it's 500 miles, and it's like NASCAR, you pit, you change drivers if you want. And we did. I had it was with Danny Enns that year from up by Oak Bluff, Manitoba. And that's just fun racing.
So when you switch off, do you just go until you're time for a fuel stop, or do you go extra, or do you just switch off every fuel stop? Because that wouldn't be very long, I would imagine.
It's about 80 to 100 laps.
Okay. Wow.
And then they plow, then they switch.
Sure. Is that a half mile or a 1 mile track?
1 mile.
1 mile track. I also heard a rumor. You had the fast lap at the Sioux 500, blew a track, and somebody said, I was told you were clocked at 116 miles an hour sliding down the track.
That's when it blew. We were kind of crazy back then because we had the fast lap for qualifying, but we wanted to go for the track
The record? Okay, so I could just picture this as you're sliding down the racetrack without a snowmobile at 116 miles an hour. How quick was that stop?
Don't know. Don't remember.
Don't remember, really?
No.
Finally crash into the bales, or what happened?
I went over the bank and then went into the ice chunks from plowing.
Oh, boy.
But I broke my shoulder blade, but rung my bell pretty hard.
Yeah? Did you still race then?
No, not that weekend.
Okay. Wow. That is crazy. Formula 3, when we're talking about ovals, Formula 56, you were part of the Yamaha Dream Team. And you know, back in the day, a lot of people race snowmobiles, but to be on a factory team, that's pretty crazy. Now, when you first started, you mentioned Arctic Cat when you were a kid. Did you continue with the Arctic Cats in the cross country? Or did you switch around a little bit? Because you've ridden pretty much every sled out there.
Yeah, I was on a Cat for a couple of years with Team Arctic.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know how I got, then used Yamaha, then the Dream Team. It was Tim Bender and Steve Hoole, Wergen.
Huge names.
Donahue,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We had a good team.
So when you would switch brands, what would they do? Would they call you up and say, hey, this is whoever from Yamaha. You want to go have a cup of coffee? Is that how that usually started, or what?
Skidoo was that way. But everybody else was, I don't know, somebody would call in the summer and say, hey, like Tim Berg called, wanted to get me on the Yamaha. And then we got tied up with Steve Thorson out of Fergus. And that's kind of how it went.
Geez, I remember back in the day, being an Arctic Cat guy, but when that SRX come out, holy smokes, were they fast. And this was just handed to me. I gotta mention this. Remember back at the fair here years ago when they had the kitty cats with the wheels on them and you could drive around on the hay bales? My kid had never been on a snowmobile before. Full throttle, froze, right through the bales. You should have seen these fair worker guys trying to catch him. It was pretty funny. I tell you what we're going to do. We've got so much more to talk about, but I want to take just a little bit of a break here and talk about Valvoline Instant Oil Change. You know, life doesn't ever seem to slow down. Everything needs to be done now. And when it comes time for an oil change, I tell you what, stop into Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Most of their oil changes are done within 15 minutes, and they do all kinds of things besides the oil changes, tranny and coolant flushes. They'll rotate your tires for you, check your battery. Now, when you get the oil change, they're going to top off your fluids, check your tires, battery, lights, wipers, cabin air filter. You can get discount for fleets. If you're in the military, you get a discount. They can text and email invoices and coupons. And if you go in there for that oil change, you mentioned Grand Forks Best Source, they'll give you $10 off your oil change. Valvoline Instant Oil Change, they're open 7 days a week. You don't need an appointment. Pickup and delivery is available, too, if you live in Grand Forks, which is pretty cool. For a complete oil change and more, head on over to Valvoline Instant Oil Change. They're at 3325 South 38th Street. You can call them at 701-780-8462, but make sure you tell them GFBS sent you. Have we been kind of flipping through these pictures, or I haven't been paying attention. Okay. We got them in the background there in a Skidoo. A name like Useldinger, I see your name on the back of your jacket. Was it hard for them to fit that on the back?
Yeah, well, they did it enough times. So.
Back in the day, I believe your cousin Mike, our sons played hockey together, and he used to say, You can call me whatever you want with my name. I've been called all kinds of weird names. He always had the hat on, just tilted a little bit. He goes, don't worry about it. I've heard them all. Now, the one thing when it comes to oval racing, I mean, guys get hurt cross-country racing, but it seems like the more serious of the injuries are on the ice. You kind of got hurt in 1990. I believe that was what was it, 91? Okay, you remember it? Were you there?
I was there. Yeah.
Okay, you explain to me what happened in the crash, then we'll ask him how bad it was.
Okay, I'll take that. It was December of 1990. That is correct, but it was the 91 racing season, and it was in Brainerd. And a guy was on Team Arctic. His teammate was Brian Sturgeon, and they were the sleds to beat that weekend. I was at Black Magic Motorsports at that time, and it was who was going to win that final. Mm-hmm. And the green flag dropped, and they were coming out of turn 2. Mike Hoole hit his brother Steve, and Steve hit either Guy or Brian. I don't remember which one of you it was. Those 3 went flying off the track. And I remember seeing somebody flying in the air with their feet were straight up in the air and their hands straight down.
Oh, yeah.
That was Brian Sturgeon, found out later, and he landed on his hands, broke both wrists. Guy got a lot of injuries on the backside and several stitches. I was actually standing next to Brian's dad when it happened. And I mean, we knew it was bad. It was not good. And I'll let Guy had the bird's eye view. He can tell the rest of the story.
All right. Go ahead.
Well, I didn't see much, but all I know is I think Steve's track pretty much ripped my leathers off, and it put a big gash in my butt. And I think that's probably the scariest I ever been in a race, because I was laying there, Hoole was laying by me, and I couldn't move my body. I suppose it went into shock.
Sure.
But that's the scariest I ever been.
And that's when a lot of the accidents happen if these guys fall off on the track. I mean, Dave Thompson comes to mind when he got hit. I remember that plain as day. But I've had stitches in a lot of parts of my body. I've never had one in the ass, though. They claim it is one of the most delicate parts of your body. Was that true?
Well, I got 120 stitches in my career.
So you were like double crack guy for a while.
In the hospital, I remember my mechanic, Darren Headland, was in there, and the doctor puts a stick in my mouth, and he goes, grab onto the side of that bed, he says, because this is going to hurt. He cleaned it with a brush to get all the dirt out. Darren passed out.
I was there, too.
Hey, we get to look at Guy's ass. Jeez. Now, I know another guy that happened to, Lemar Ratnan from up at Thief River. He did that. I don't know if the track blew or something blew, but he was testing something on Lake of the Woods, and that thing rode. It pretty much cut his leathers off his entire body. But now, did you take a little bit of time off after that wreck then?
Yeah, I had to do some rehab on my knees.
Okay.
And Brian was done for the year.
And
then we got going. Oh, was it Valcor?
Eagle River.
Eagle River.
Yep, you were at Eagle, but I remember you couldn't really bend into it. Yeah,
couldn't bend very well. But we ended up winning the last 4.
Wow.
Them sleds were awesome.
Yeah, did you start from the back row at one of those?
That was the next year.
Okay, the next year. And if people aren't familiar with Eagle River, as far as I'm concerned, when you hear Eagle River, that's like the Indianapolis 500 or the Daytona 500 for snowmobiles. And Eagle River was the one you always want to win. And to do that good, was that like on your bucket list? Is like, I've got to win this thing?
Oh, always is for everybody. That you go there and that's your goal.
So you came back then, you took a little bit of time off. And I know you mentioned this before we went on the air, but you tried to retire a little bit, but you didn't. And I'm sure this was before that time. But you came back in the early 90s, and then it was Arctic Cat, Skidoo, and finally Polaris. Did your body start to catch up with all these years of racing? Or were you just going to keep going until you couldn't do it anymore?
Well, I was sitting in Anago at a final one day, the last race of the year, and I just said, this is it. I'm done. And I was talking to Rick Mears in Eagle River one year. He had quit IndyCar driving.
Yep. Still one of my favorite IndyCar drivers of all time, by the way.
He was Deckers introduced us, and we were talking, and I go, how did you quit? He goes, you just know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a switch comes on, and I just said, when you're not scared going into that corner at 230 miles an hour, it's time to get out.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, people would think of that the opposite, but that makes sense. When you finally did step away, did you go watch any racing?
No, I went to Hawaii. I knew if I went, I'd probably try to get back into it.
And you know, that's the hard part. When you step away, don't go watch right away at first, because you're going to be pulled. Yeah. Where it's like, man, I bet you I could still do this one more year, and I bet you. But I think you're right. If your mind and your body is telling you that's enough, then that's enough. Do you feel any pain at all today from all these years of ditch banging and wiping out? And I mean, let's face it, we were talking again before the show. The new sleds are a lot different than they were back then.
Yeah. I guess when I got out, as far as my body right now, I don't really feel a lot of aches. I still work out and play a lot of racquetball.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's helping me a lot. Because I think if I quit, I just seize up. But
yeah, lose all oil pressure, and that's all there is to it. What is your probably most favorite moment, or funniest moment, or best moment going on the road with this guy?
Oh, I think one of them I'll never forget is we were in Beausejour racing up there, and we ran 5 classes and won 4, and the other one was a second. And it was the last race of the '92 season, the year that guy won Eagle River, and it was a great way to end that one. And I'll never, the sled that got second with was whose was that guy? It was not
gray one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that
Nicholson?
gray one. Who was that?
Nichols?
Yeah, it was Nicholson's sled. Yep. And I remember Jimmy Hedlund, and that's another guy we need to talk about. I'd be Darren Hedlund's dad. He said, yeah, those rented toboggans, they're not worth a shit. It was an unreal day. I mean, that's the one I really remember. And we partied real hard after that one, and I drove Guy home.
Okay. Now, when you're running numerous classes like that, how much time do you have between heats, between features, any of that? They have a sled warmed up, ready for you to go. You pull into the trailer, and you get off one sled and jump on the other and get back out there. Is that how that went?
Yeah, we'd have about probably 6, 7, 8 guys up there, and somebody would keep one warmed up and, run your heats. Then you'd get a break probably before the finals and stuff. But
you talk about 92, winning the Formula 3 championship at Eagle River, and also the series title and the USSA Driver of the Year. Some pretty big awards and accolades coming your way there.
Yeah, of course I had a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, Darren, and Todd Gransky, and we had a couple guys from Michigan, and you just can't do that stuff without them.
Right.
I mean, there's just like Darren and Todd, they spent, Scott too, but all night long sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Just fixing, repairing, trying.
Got to be ready.
Yep.
And by the way, we did try to get Todd Grabanski on today, but he couldn't make it. He's a little nerved out at the job today, but I had to get my little plug in there. The crash you were talking about with Sturgeon, is that the one that I brought up?
Yes.
Okay, so when you get in a big wreck like that, did it scare you when you got back on the sled?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it took a while.
I mean, they say, get back on the horse and do it again. Well, if you've never been through it, you don't realize it. And especially when you got to go doing the rehab thing and you didn't get 150 stitches in your ass, especially back then, the sleds nowadays, you're mostly standing on them, it seems like, but back then you didn't. I mean, you sat on them unless you were jumping.
Well, that's the snowcross is totally different, and now they're more like a motorcycle than they are a snowmobile.
Yeah, and I remember, because I remember you at these races, but back in Thief River when snowcross was just coming around, basically what they did was they took an ice oval, they'd put a little hairpin in there and one little man-made jump or whatever, and they considered that snowcross compared to nowadays. But when we go back to the Thief River days, again, I wanted to find out about this because I thought, this was before, well, no, maybe I did drink back then, but I remember thinking, what the hell kind of snowmobile is that? You were on something that had like this mesh tunnel. Nobody had ever seen anything like that before, at least nobody I knew, and I thought I was pretty up to date with the stuff, but what the hell was that thing?
It was a phaser Yamaha built by Steve Thorson and
Dean Swartzwelter.
Dean, yeah. And it was just for weight,
Yep.
and it took us a long time to get it ironed out.
What was that tunnel? What was it made out of? How was that thing built?
I don't even remember.
It was expanded metal.
Okay, yeah.
Is what it was.
And he had it anodized, and
Oh,
it was beautiful.
Thorson sleds are second to none.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know I used to work with expanded metal a lot, and I know when you cut that stuff, boy, those edges are really, really sharp. I couldn't imagine how much work it would take to make something like that. Boy, the technology that these guys were coming up with, because, now you could pretty much, in some of those classes, do what you have to do, right? If it's not in the rule books, you make sure that it's going to be in the rule books next year. But I don't. Did you race that whole season, that sled?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Let me see here. Got a lot of guys watching. Kevin, when Scott raced go-karts, we had him race in Park River on the forest, so he let me drive his cart at the Speedway in Grand Forks. After the races, he told me to take it easy for a few laps.
It's got to be Kevin Pattenfuss.
Yep. I got on the track and held it to the floor for a few laps, 6 beers or so in me. I think he was sorry after that. I felt twice as fast as my hobby stock. Kaylee says, and we were talking a lot about this, man, before we went on the air. It's too bad Dale Cormican isn't still around to join in on this. Heard so many stories between him and my dad during my youth, but never understood how cool the stories were between a couple of old guys until I got older. Her dad would be Bobby Baird. So a lot of people are watching. You retired finally after, well, you went a couple of more years, but 1970 or 97
Yep.
was your retire. How old were you then?
40.
40. And that was it. It just not going to do it anymore.
Yeah, well, then the snowcross, Formula 3 was kind of dying, and snowcross was really coming on strong.
Mm-hmm.
It was perfect timing because I didn't want to go over them jumps.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And, to me, that's a shame because I've always been the ice oval guy or cross country. I mean, snowcross is cool because let's face it, if you want to go watch a cross country race, you got to park in your car somewhere and pick a good ditch crossing and hopefully you'll see something. But the snowcross is a good way to get all of that into a stadium, because it's money and television that are ruling everything now, and it's pretty tough to televise a cross-country race. You could televise the oval racing, but I miss the days of the Formula One, I think was the twin trackers back in the day. I mean, could you imagine if those guys were running the size motors they have now? Because I think they only ran 340s back then, didn't they, in those twin trackers?
Correct. Yeah.
I miss that a lot. I thought that was great racing. Inducted to the Snowmobile Hall of Fame 2001, I believe.
Yep.
Did you know it was coming?
Not right away. I usually thought it'd take longer.
Mm-hmm.
But then C.J. Ramstead was still alive then. He had went to Sweden with us, and I was just going to say one thing about the snowcross. Like when me and Archie went to Sweden, Arch we had snowcross over there as well. We do the cross country Saturday, snowcross Sunday, but CJ had brought that idea back to the U.S., and he's the one that really got it started.
Yeah, I'm guessing Tucker Hibbert's saying thank you very much.
Exactly.
I mean, look where snowcross racing put him.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You know?
He was good.
Yeah, and I was actually really shocked when he walked away from it. But, a lot of guys, Scott, you mentioned Brad Pake, Mike Johnson, guys like that. But Sturgeon, same way. I remember when he was racing the Lightning Sprint cars. Did you ever think about doing anything with wheels on the dirt or pavement?
Yeah, I did a little mini sprint racing.
Okay, I didn't know that.
That fit in pretty good. But then I did have an opportunity to go sprint car racing, but it doesn't work well farming.
No. I know a lot of sprint car drivers that say the same thing. It's very, very hard to do both. Now, when you were in the Lightning Sprint, was that back when Sturgeon was doing it too?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Quite a bit before.
Okay, because I remember giving him a hard time at that thing at the long haul. And that's when Arctic Cat, I believe, was first coming out with the fuel injected stuff. So they were using him for a lot of R&D work. And I'd said, that thing used to smoke so bad around that racetrack. At least you fogged for the bugs. I said, how often did you blow up those motors? Because I know you were blowing them up. And he said, no, they weren't. I just figured something that smoked that bad. But do you remember anything about those times?
I do. That's when Brian was at Black Magic, and Tim Berg from Black Magic actually owned that sprint or that mini sprint, and it was a 550 EFI. I think that they were running in it.
Yep.
You know, and of course now it's all 4 strokes, but back then a lot of guys were running 2 strokes.
Yeah.
And Brian he controlled that circuit at that time.
Oh, he did, absolutely. I mean, he wiped everybody. And it was so funny because when they first started coming to Grand Forks, you could hear a lot of the people were like, I can't stand the sound. To me, when I closed my eyes, that was like being at Eagle River or Bon Jour or some of these places. You just close your eyes and think you were back ice oval racing again, because I loved the sound. I loved the smell. I will admit now that they've all gone to the motorcycle motors and stuff, it's a little more fan-friendly as far as the noise goes, because when you're sitting underneath that grandstand at the Speedway, those snowmobile motors, they'd ring the ears a little bit.
Very much so, yeah, and that's what snuffers on them too. I mean, it's not, you know, and they're still, those 2 strokes. Of course, those of us with a snowmobile background, we miss the 2 strokes.
Yeah. And now another thing I've noticed, all the snowmobiles nowadays sound like what they used to on the ice tracks. Now it's just that back. Whatever happened to nice, quiet snowmobiles? Because I live right along the Red Lake River, and I actually had some knucklehead come down my driveway last night. Right around my house, you just barely missed my egress window, and went back out and looked back at my house on the way out, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? But I could hear them coming for like a minute. They have really changed snowmobiles.
Well, that one would have a can on it. I mean, you know,
almost all of them do now, I think.
The stock ones are very quiet now, and there's a few guys that put the cans on, which I don't appreciate, because that's what ruins our trail systems.
Yes, it does.
You know, people do not want these guys next to them, you know, and I've never been a fan of a can myself. They don't give you any extra horsepower.
No.
They just sound faster.
Yeah, these are the same guys. If they could drive under the underpass going down South Washington, they'd crack the throttle under the underpass just so they could hear it.
Yep.
You know, it's like, come on, dude, grow up a little bit. I mean, nothing against it as long as you're staying away from my house, I guess. Of all the wins, Guy, of all the accolades, the Hall of Fame induction, is there a favorite win for you?
I'd say it was Eagle River, because we had to fight for that one. We had to win the last chance on Sunday morning. So that put us first and second got to go to the back row.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we started, and I knew we had a good sled, but I don't know. It's just when you get that checkered flag at that race, you know, it's like you said, it's like the Indy 500.
Absolutely, it is.
It's just a good feeling.
I could imagine, or maybe I couldn't, the party after winning something like that had to have been epic.
Oh yeah, Sunday night was quite a day. We were a pretty happy bunch. The one thing fun about it, it was like a big family racing around the country.
Mm-hmm.
We'd travel with 10, 12 trailers, teams, you know, and when we won or if they won, it was that we all won.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a really good time. Great bunch of people.
And you know, that's one thing that is said pretty much every Dirty Thursday here, or Snirty Thursday. It doesn't matter if I'm talking to a snowmobile racer, a go-kart racer, a sprint car racer, late model, whatever. They all talk about the sanctioning bodies, and they're all a big family. Somebody might be your enemy for 10 laps. You need their help after the race or after the heat or whatever. They're going to help you in the most times. But was it the same way back with the sled days?
Oh, it was definitely. Like after the races, I didn't go around quite as much as Darren and Todd. They'd go talk to other teams.
Mm-hmm. Try to get some hints.
You know, if we're having trouble.
Yep.
Or if what jetting you running, or
Sure.
what are you wearing for carbides, or
Well, it's your job to drive. It's their job to set it up, right?
I just told them, I said, don't tell me what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to know.
A lot of race drivers do that same thing. You trust in your crew, the crew trusts the driver, and that's how it works the best.
Yeah, that's where it was. I can't say I didn't want to know what they were doing, because they'd always look at me to what should we try, like for handling and going in hard to the corner. If it was pushing a little, or the track's going to change, should we leave it? Should we add some carbide? Should we put some camber in? Or, it was a communication.
When you look back at your career now, do you miss it? Do you wish you were 25 years younger?
Yeah, no, I think I had enough of it.
Time to slow down.
It was fun.
You still ride.
Yeah, with my daughter Gabby, and she bought her 550 Evo now, and we're trying to have a little fun with that.
So do you ever go to your daughter, hold my beer and watch this?
Oh, I showed her some pictures, and she goes, "Is that you? You had hair back then."
We actually had some pictures here. We couldn't figure out how to get them up here. Katie had got them up there, but yeah, we had. Oh, maybe we could pop this one up when you were claiming you had hair.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
See if we can blow that up. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Hair and sideburns.
That was the late 70s.
That, I think 79 season, 78 or 9, something like that. I just found that on Facebook here not too long ago.
Wow, that's good. Got a text from Tim Schwann saying, Bill Sullivan, are you watching this? Great show. I talked about this before we went on, Guy, and I don't know if you're going to answer it. When you're a factory driver for as many factories and as many brands of snowmobiles that you had raced with, do you have a favorite?
No, because they all treated me good, the factories and the companies. And it seems funny, like when we were in F3, you couldn't tell the chassis much apart, but as far as motor and hood, that was what you knew you were on. And I was blessed, worked good with all the factories, and just a great career.
Well, it's kind of funny because the different brands really kind of swapped other brands' parts here and there. I mean, clutching, brakes, things like that. If you maybe were on an Arctic Cat, you might not have had Arctic Cat clutches or brakes or anything like that. So basically, it's the hood is what's going to show. I mean, it's almost like NASCAR. I mean, a lot of these cars are the same. They're just shaped a little different, but kind of the same thing back then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Before we get done with this thing, talk a little bit about this here, Scott. We were in Reynolds this past weekend at the Beehive, and that was an incredible show. That loud pipe post we put on, it's had like 30,000 views or something like that. It's always fun when you get a guy ready for this loud pipe competition, and before he starts his snowmobile up, he starts putting the earplugs in. And you think, oh boy, this is going to be good. But we've got another vintage show coming up here.
Yeah, that's right. We got the Dwayne Bry Memorial Vintage Ride in Manville this coming Saturday. It looks like the weather's going to straighten out for us, too. A little stormy tomorrow, but Saturday looks good. We're going to do a real simple one. We're not going to have classes and judging, any of that. We just got awards for oldest rider, oldest snowmobile, furthest traveled, a hard luck award, and then the Bry family is going to pick their favorite snowmobile. Dwayne Bry put Manville on the map as far as snowmobiles. He had a repair shop there for years and years, and to put it mildly, Dwayne Bry was quite a character. You never knew when he was serious, that's for sure. But he did a great job at stocking parts, partied out a lot of sleds and stuff. And so he passed away here not too long ago, and we asked the family if we could do this in his memory, and they gave us the blessing on it. And the family is going to be there. His son is going to ride one of Dwayne's old sleds. He's going to lead us out of town. So it's pretty special. And that starts 11 o'clock is registration at the Manville Community Center.
All right, this is with the Turtle River Rough Riders Snowmobile Club out of Manville. $10 to enter your sled. You know what? These vintage get-togethers, they're so much fun. For guys like us, I remember last year going to Reynolds, and as I'm walking through, I'm like, okay, I had this one when I was 6. I remember driving this one when I was about 12, and I remember, oh boy, then you get up into the 80s, and oh man, I raced this one year, and I had that one. But it's kind of like reliving your youth, and then you look at the young guys, and they look at these snowmobiles and look at you like, huh? That thing drives on the snow? When you think about where snowmobiling was back in your heyday, our heyday, compared to now, it's like everything. I mean, technology changes, but snowmobiling has come a very long way.
Absolutely huge. Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask you this, and this is what I ask pretty much every racer that comes in here. As far as a snowmobile racer guy, how would you like to be remembered?
Oh, I don't know. I guess kind of a diverse driver is being, driving all different kinds of racing and different brands and, a long time.
Mm-hmm. And, it's not easy to go from ovals or cross country to ovals to switch and go, because you might be really good at one, but not so good at the other. But you were pretty much awesome in every type of racing you did.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of cross country at first, and then in the beginning we'd have like Sweden, Saturdays cross country, ovals on Sunday. I think that helped me get used to all that, and then once we started enduro, you did a lot of laps in.
Yeah. I don't know who the quote was from. I believe it might have even been with your Hall of Fame induction, but one of the things we kind of started the show off with, one of snowmobile racing's most versatile and durable drivers. Dave Adams wants to know, what sled did you win the most races on?
Wow. Probably Polaris or Skidoo.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't want to hear that, but
That's where he spent most of his time.
well, right.
Yeah, right. More years on them. So.
Sure.
The 91 season would have been different if he wouldn't have got hurt. I know that, because the sleds were just simply fast. I think about him and Brian Ron, those 91 Wildcats.
Oh, yeah. When the Wildcats, oh, gosh, I remember that was my first ride of over 100 miles an hour was on the new Wildcat. I don't know if you guys remember Denny Bakke. Denny Bakke's son, Ryan, had one, and he let me take it for a spin, and you don't realize you're going that fast until you try to slow down. And I'm going down the river, Thief River there, and it was a good spot to try to hit 100, and I looked down, and my speedo, I think, said like 108 or something. I don't know if it was on or not, but so I start going down, I'm hitting the brakes, and pretty soon I'm like, well, I'm starting to run out of room. I must be slowing down now. I look down at my speedo, and I'm still going like 80, and I'm not going to make this turn, so I hit the bank, and I flew. I bet you I would have hit Rumors from here in the air. And here's the big brick house that the people that owned the cable company in Thief River owned. And I'm coming right at this big brick house. I leaned over a little bit. I bet you I missed that house by about that much. Went right by it, through their yard, and finally stopped in the street in front of their house. Got up and did one of those, woo! But, I've heard this before, 80, 90, 100, you don't really notice the difference. I have always said, I don't care if it goes 80 or 100, it's how fast it gets to that speed. But did you really notice a big difference between, like, say, 80 and 100?
Not really until you turn.
Yeah, right. Or try to stop.
Like the Sioux, that was kind of be going down like 115. Mm-hmm. You go into the corner, and when you lean out, you'd go, it just take your wind away.
Wow.
From the speed.
Yeah.
And I guess that's when you really notice it, is when you turn. When you're going straight.
Yeah, and when you're turning, I mean, some of those guys, let's face it, your chins were damn near on the ice. I mean, you guys are down there really low. Man, that is just crazy. So now, Guy Useldinger, you're kicking back a little bit more. I know you're still busy, but you're doing the realty stuff. You're farming.
Yep.
Life is good as far as not racing snowmobiles anymore.
Oh yeah. You got plenty to do, and
are you going to keep farming until you can't anymore?
well, for a while yet.
Yeah, I run into your brother once in a while.
Yeah.
So I find out how things are going. Yeah, he visits the Broken Drum once in a while too. So we have it's always fun talking to these guys. You guys, I know you're both busy, and I can't thank you enough for coming in on the show today. You've been on my map for a long time. And again, I'm going to thank Polak. Well, maybe I shouldn't have said that on here. Might get banned from Facebook now. But Todd Grabanski, thanks for the heads up. He's the one that recommended both of you guys, and I'm glad. And I really like your shirt there too. That is pretty cool. Hopefully now we'll get you on again. This next Hall of Fame thing, and tell you what, man, if you ever want to come and join in with us, make sure it's a day where you're not going back to work though, so we can have the official drink of the Useldinger camp, okay? And I'm not the only one having the official drink. You guys,
it's fun reliving, so it's been a fun time.
Oh, absolutely. I could sit and talk about old snowmobile racing forever, even though I don't consider 1997 to be that old. What a remarkable career. Both of you guys have both done so much for snowmobiles and snowmobile racing. And you know, the thing is I've known you for a while, never put two and two together, didn't realize, oh, that's Schuster. I remember him from, yeah. A lot of these guys, they kind of lay back in the weeds, and you don't get to hear from them anymore. You know, they'll say, well, look at that guy, that's Larry Colton. Well, if I wasn't from Thief, I wouldn't know that. I go, you're kidding me. I mean, I would have freaked out. Sturgeon, Useldinger, same thing. All
Scott doesn't say much, but Scott's been a big asset to cross-country racing.
Oh, I know, yeah.
And he don't say much. Now you're on the board of
directors for the Hall of Fame in St. Germain, Wisconsin.
No kidding.
I'm just finishing my first year on that, and be going there next month. Traveling with Guy to that was Brian Sturgeon is getting inducted in the Hall of Fame, and
that'll be good.
We got a big crew going for that, and I go way back with ice ovals. Put on 5 Formula 3 ice oval races, USSA races at the Grand Forks Speedway.
Yeah. I was talking with Guy earlier. I think that was the last time I talked to Dale Cormican, was at that very last one. Him and his son Sean were sitting up there, and I sat with those guys for the entire afternoon. But we ever going to get a chance to see that back in Grand Forks again, you think?
You know, I've talked to, Brad Sang, and he would like to see snowcross there. And we did try to get it last year because of COVID. They could not race in Minnesota, and they decided to do it in Fargo instead. They like the fancier venues. Ice oval, hard to say. How it started in Grand Forks is quite a story. I don't know if we got time for it or not.
Sure.
Of course, Formula 3 was the premier class at that time, and I was a big fan, and I was selling Arctic Cat snowmobiles, and I think it was the fall of '89. I was in Thief River picking up a load of snowmobiles. Went over to the race shop to see Joey Hallstrom, and Black Magic was in the same building. And we said, hey, let's go have a beer across the street. So we went there, and I made the statement. I said, I'd love to put a foot of ice on the Grand Forks Speedway. Well, that turned into, hey, we're going to do it. And anyway, long story short, the next morning I get a call from Tim Berg. He goes, were you serious yet last night? I said, yeah, I was. He goes, let's do it. And we did it. We got contact. I didn't know Bob Amundsen was running the fairboard at that time. I got a hold of Bob. He said absolutely. And Dennis Molinar was on the fairboard, and he absolutely wanted to do something. And I got to know him with the go-kart days when we were racing on the Speedway. And we rented a water truck, and we put a foot of ice on it, and we did that first race. Guy had tough luck that weekend. The 2-day race, Saturday and Sunday, crashed both days on the same turn. And that was your second year probably in Formula 3 at that time, I think. Yeah. And then in '92, of course, Guy's banner year of Formula 3, he won at the Speedway. And then there, that time, I think, entered 4 classes and won all 4.
Wow.
6 out of 7 first that year.
Wow. That's incredible.
And then I totaled out 2 the year before.
Well, you know, one cool thing that is really making a comeback is the vintage ice oval sleds. Even if they got something like that up here, I know Minnesota's got their own gig going on right now, but you're seeing it more and more. Vintage snowmobiles, when you think about it, when my dad passed, he must have had 15, 20 of them. You'll see them sitting in the woods. You'll see them sitting in tree lines. But now people are starting to rescue these things. They're starting to drive them, show them off, and they're starting to race them again. You know, even if they could bring a vintage sled race here, would be pretty cool.
It's not out of the question. I know, Strathcona puts on a big race over there. That's coming up on February 15th, I believe, or that weekend anyway.
Yep.
And It could be possible with the group. The thing is, it takes a lot of time and money to build ice.
Oh, sure it
and
does,
it's
yeah.
hard to get a crowd and make it worthwhile. It's like it's not on the fence. Somebody wants to do it, I'd be more than willing to help. I guess I get trapped into a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Worked with cross country racing for about 14, 15 years, but it would be fun to see it. Back in December of '78, they had Snow Pro out here.
Yep.
And I've got a picture of that Mike Witherall found the original at the Speedway, and I took it to Rock Tweeton and Tweeton's Photography in Grafton and restored it. And it's Jim Dimmerman's in front, Bobby Elsner's alongside him. I think Steve Thorson is on Scorpion that year. I was going to bring that picture and I forgot, but it's really neat. There's some history with snowmobile racing at the Speedway.
Sure.
But it's to happen again. It's hard to say.
All right, you got one more question for you, and this is coming from Aaron Useldinger. Who's faster in a beat truck, Guy or Scott? You first.
Brian Sturgeon.
Yeah.
How about you?
But me and Brian, well, we all kind of keep everybody else going. So
I can never get my beat truck going that fast.
Sturgeon gets warned every year at the beat plant to slow down.
yeah,
I got a funny
get the
story.
call. One of us get the call. Guy, you got to tell that guy in that red and white Mac to slow down.
One of the first, I actually taught Brian Sturgeon how to drive, but that was a sugar beet truck, a truck hauling sugar beets, but I always have fun with that. But one year during sugar beets, Guy was running the harvester and Brian was in the truck getting loaded, and I got on the radio and I said, hey, I used to watch you guys going side by side at 104 miles an hour. Now you're side by side at 4.2. And Brian quickly answered back, yeah, but I'm still in the lead.
Oh, man, I had a lot of fun today, you guys. Again, thanks for coming in. What a great show, Snirty Thursday. And by the way, we're going to do another Snirty Thursday coming up next week. We're going to be talking about kids snowmobile racing. I know there's a race coming up in East Side here very soon, so we'll talk about that too. Hall of Famer, snowmobile racer, Guy Useldinger, Scott Schuster, again, thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming in today.
Thank you, John.
This has been unreal. Absolutely love it. There we go. Snirty Thursday going in the books here. And your show, by the way, brought to you by Rumors Sports Bar and Casino. If you ever notice when I look to the left, I'm not just looking at you, I'm looking over at Rumors. But
Thirsty again.
pretty hard not to. Again, yeah. Rumors Sports Bar and Casino. Now, granted, you're not going to get to see any UND Fighting Hawks hockey this weekend, but you know what? They have got TVs everywhere. Your favorite sport will be on at least 10 of them, I can tell you that. Home of the world-famous beer tower. I tell you what, if you're looking for lunch, maybe you want some dinner, they have got $6 express lunches every day, lunch and dinner specials every day. They have got specials going on all the time there. Maybe you want to go try your luck with some charitable gaming or gambling. You can do it. Maybe you want to bet on the horses. A lot of guys do. A lot of guys do pretty good. Room for parties, the games in the UND room. They got the NHL package. Everything. Love the atmosphere. Love it all. Everything about it. Rumors Sports Bar and Casino right here in the Grand Cities Mall. Hey, stay tuned. Coming up, Midwest Pixel Pros with Dale at 1 o'clock today. And, of course, the best forking sports arena with Monty and Bill at 6:30 tonight. Remember to like, share, tag, and follow us. Hit that notification bell on your smartphone. And you know what? Become a patron on Podbean. Chance for you to qualify for all kinds of Grand Forks Best Source swag. You could be wearing a hat like this. You could be wearing one of our new hoodies, too. Hey, you know, the Grand Cities, man, it's an awesome place. Grand Forks Best Source is giving it an identity again.